Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, leading prayers in Tehran. A massive crowd can be seen in attendance at the Grand Musalla Mosque, waving Palestinian, Hezbollah and Lebanese flags. These are tough times for Iran, and its supreme leader is facing tough choices. Hello and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Unman Paricharya. Let's connect the dots of the dilemma facing the supreme leader of Iran. The Israeli attack should neither be downplayed nor exaggerated. A careful choice of words by Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He was referring to Israel's airstrikes on military sites in Iran. Israel had launched them on the intervening night of 25th and 26th October. This was in retaliation to a ballistic missile attack by Iran earlier that month. Khamenei's words show strategic caution, but Khamenei is not just thinking about the best immediate move for Iran. He is thinking long term. But do you know who exactly is Ayatollah Khamenei? Well, he has the final say on all major policies in Iran. He serves as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and controls the Revolutionary Guard. Born into a clerical family in 1939 in Iran's second-largest city, Mossad, he received religious education there and then turned his attention to political activities against the last monarch of Iran, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. Pahlavi had ruled Iran with a pro-Western foreign policy and a reformist and modern outlook from 1941 until the 1979 Iranian Revolution, when the Pahlavi dynasty was toppled in Iran and the imperial state of Iran was replaced by the present-day Islamic Republic of Iran. Khamenei had gone into exile in the 1960s and re-emerged after the Shah of Iran was overthrown. He was a close confidant of the leader who emerged after the revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, and quickly rose through the ranks of government. He was elected president in October 1981 and re-elected in 1985. He then eventually succeeded Khomeini after his death in 1989 and became Iran's supreme leader. The supreme leader carefully manages the clerical establishment in Iran to balance competing interests, advance his own priorities, and ensure that no one challenges the Islamic Republic or his leadership. He is 85 years old, and his 35-year reign over Iran means his influence extends across West Asia, given Iran's backing of Hamas and Hezbollah and support for the Houthis. But with power and authority and rival powers in the region come huge challenges. Before going into those challenges, let's understand Iran's adversarial relationship with Israel and the basis of that. Since the 1979 Iranian Revolution, Tehran has been ideologically opposed to Israel. And Iran's supreme leader sees Israel as an occupying power and a colonial project of the West that he sees as undermining Palestinian and broader Muslim sovereignty. Containing Israel's regional influence while defending the Palestinians serves Iran's purpose of defending an important Arab and Muslim cause. It also helps Iran make a bid for regional influence over other Arab states. Tehran's regional goals are above all driven by its quest for securing its regime. Iran learned that lesson when it was attacked by Iraq in the 1980 to 1988 period. Iraq had then got support from regional and Western states. The Islamic Republic survived But this attack instilled a paranoid and defensive mindset among Iran's leadership. And this mindset has driven its approach and support for proxy groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and support for Houthis in Yemen ever since. Iran has built its network over time, striking deals, providing regular support, and developing cross-border networks in weak and fractured territories such as Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and the Palestinian territories. To understand the challenges facing the supreme leader of Iran today, let's understand the setbacks the Islamic Republic and its regional proxies have endured amid hostilities with Israel. In the past 100 days, Khamenei has seen devastating losses. Israel struck decisive blows against Iran's so-called axis of resistance. It killed Hamas leaders Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran and Yahya Sinwar in Gaza. Khamenei's most important ally, the Lebanese Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, was also eliminated. What's more, in October, the United States sent B-2 stealth bombers, which are $2 billion worth of aircraft capable of delivering 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs to destroy weapons depots in Yemen linked to Iran's Houthi allies. This was not only another blow to Iran's proxy armies, but also a clear signal to Tehran that its underground nuclear sites are within reach. Earlier too, there were quite a few domestic setbacks for Iran. From America's assassination of Iran's top military commander, General Qassem Soleimani, in January 2020, to Israel's alleged killing of Iranian nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh that year. Together, they show the regime's vulnerabilities. When Khamenei's protege and potential successor, President Ebrahim Raisi, died in a helicopter crash in May, many Iranians suspected internal or external sabotage. Containing domestic uprisings has been another major challenge for the clerical establishment in Iran. The national uprising in 2022 and 2023, known as the Women Life Freedom Protests, took 6 months and more than 20,000 arrests to die down. There are economic challenges too, because even without strict enforcement from the Biden administration, Iran faces some of the highest sanctions in the world. Analysts say Khamenei has spent his sunset years repressing a population that wants to unseat him while simultaneously engaging in a military and financial conflict with Israel and the United States. And now, given the possibility of even more hostilities with Israel, which is a nuclear power, the supreme leader faces a critical choice: whether to pursue nuclear weapons or not. Until now, Iran has followed a strategy of nuclear ambiguity. Under it, it tries to deter its adversaries by staying just short of developing a nuclear weapon. This helps it stave off severest economic and diplomatic costs that are associated with having one. Although Iranian officials did stress for long that Khamenei issued a fatwa forbidding nuclear weapons under Islamic law, they now openly acknowledge Iran's capacity to build such weapons if they choose to. That's what US intelligence assessment is too. Iran's domestic media estimates that the total cost of its nuclear program, including sunk expenditures, lost energy revenue, and lost foreign investment because of sanctions, can go up to hundreds of billions of dollars, even though the nuclear program contributes just 1% to Iran's energy needs. One could even argue that the most important objective that Iran's nuclear program has served for the past 20 years is diverting attention from the missiles, drones, and regional proxies it has cultivated over time. But as tensions spike in West Asia and Israel continues to train its weapons on Iran, Khamenei may be compelled to reconsider his nuclear options. But the road to developing nuclear weapons is laced with many complications, because Iran's nuclear program, much like its security and intelligence services, has been deeply infiltrated by Israeli and United States intelligence. And so, developing a full-fledged nuclear weapon could mean covert or overt military action from Israel or the United States. Remember, over the past decade and a half, besides routine assassination of its top nuclear scientists, its clandestine nuclear sites have been exposed and subjected to sophisticated cyber attacks and sabotage. That possibility is intact even today. In 2018, Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, had even seized a significant portion of Iran's covert nuclear archives from a warehouse in Tehran. Former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has gone to the extent of saying that the very team that was tasked by the Islamic Republic with countering Mossad's infiltration was led by a Mossad spy. Similar dangers are there today too. Another factor that Khamenei may like to consider while taking a call on whether to acquire nuclear weapons or not is the internal consequences it could trigger. Iran having nuclear weapons could undermine his own authority and control. Because much of his power is rooted in his authority to make the final decision about crossing the nuclear threshold, and once that threshold is crossed, he risks shifting power to the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, which is most likely to oversee the nuclear arsenal and launch codes. While autocratic leaders recognize the allure of nuclear weapons to enhance their power, they often hesitate to pursue them because of fears of empowering their militaries and undermining their own control. A similar calculation could play in Khamenei's mind. That power shift could be so defining that it may move the Islamic Republic of Iran from a theocracy to a military dictatorship, and Khamenei would want to prevent that at any cost. The other dilemma before Iran's supreme leader is who should succeed him. In 1978, the Shah of Iran, who had cancer, was said to be reluctant to rely heavily on his military to crush a national insurrection. He feared it would make his 18-year-old son, to whom he planned to bequeath power, a puppet of the military rather than its master. Khamenei could be facing a similar challenge. Reports have emerged that he is concerned that his 55-year-old son, Mojtaba, a Shiite cleric and potential successor, could become a figurehead controlled by a nuclear-armed Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps rather than become its commander-in-chief. So the question is Khamenei himself the main barrier to Iran acquiring nuclear weapons as he grapples with internal power dynamics and external pressures? In a post-Khamenei Iran, military leaders may be less reluctant about pursuing nuclear weapons, having learned lessons from how Ukraine, Iraq and Libya became vulnerable to foreign intervention because they either gave up their nuclear capabilities or refrained from developing them. By contrast, North Korea, which kept its nuclear arsenal, has managed to ensure its isolated regime's survival. The tide is turning in Iran too, where editorials have started appearing in Revolutionary Guards news outlets that advocate changing the nuclear doctrine. So in the last chapter of his life, 85-year-old Khamenei must grapple not only with his legacy, but also with the existential fate of the regime he has led for decades. Are you a Michael Jackson fan? If yes, you must recognize this iconic black and gold military-style jacket on display. This was once worn by the king of pop himself. His jackets and other accessories are currently up for auction at a store near London. Now let's take a trip to Los Angeles. This mansion is where Michael Jackson lived and passed away in 2009. Just a short distance away is the home of another music mogul, American rapper Sean Diddy Combs.
Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write.
And this is where our story begins. Diddy is currently in jail facing serious charges related to sex trafficking and racketeering. Days after Diddy's arrest, a conspiracy theory has emerged online suggesting there is a secret underground tunnel at his mansion that connects to Michael Jackson's home. According to one version of the story, a neighbor sent an anonymous tip to federal officers about unusual activity at Diddy's house. When the agents arrived, Diddy's team reportedly prevented them from entering. Despite this, the agents decided to search Diddy's newly renovated bedroom. When they moved the bed, they allegedly found a tunnel hidden under a rug and discovered children's clothes inside the passage.
You're not going to believe this, but there is, in fact, a Diddy and Michael Jackson connection.
Social media users have since raised questions about Michael Jackson's death, with some calling for a reopening of his case and alleging Diddy's involvement. However, it's important to note that there is no evidence confirming the existence of this tunnel, and authorities have not verified these claims. The relationship between Sean Diddy Combs and Michael Jackson is not very well documented. They were seen together at the 2003 VMA party hosted by Diddy, but there's no indication of a close friendship. In fact, Diddy shared a funny story about Michael unexpectedly crashing that party while looking for Beyoncé.
Mr. Michael Jackson is here to see you. I chit-chatted, and so right there he has his arm, bring that up so they can see his arm around me, but then you don't see the shot of him whispering in my ear. Right after the shot was taken, he whispers in my ear, he says, "Where's Beyoncé?"
Really?
In a later interview, Diddy expressed his admiration for Michael and a desire to collaborate, but their schedules never matched. Now here's a surprising link between Sean Diddy Combs and Michael Jackson you must know. Fahim Muhammad, Diddy's head of security, used to work for Michael Jackson as his security chief. Notably, Muhammad was among the first to discover Jackson's body after his death. Before working for Diddy, Muhammad was Jackson's bodyguard and driver. Known as Mr. Fix-It, Muhammad now faces allegations of shielding Diddy from authorities in an ongoing lawsuit. Michael Jackson passed away in Los Angeles on 25th June 2009 at the age of 50. The cause of his death was officially ruled to be an overdose of the anesthetic propofol. His personal doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for administering the drug. Michael Jackson's life was filled with controversy. He faced allegations of child sexual abuse in 1993 and again in 2005. Although he was acquitted and the FBI found no evidence against him, these allegations continued to follow him throughout his life. Now let's come back to Diddy's case. In March this year, police raided Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles home. The investigation uncovered disturbing details about his private life. Authorities found large quantities of drugs and unusual items, including over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants, allegedly used for secretive gatherings known as freak-offs. Diddy's lavish parties were often attended by A-list celebrities. He was alleged to have tapes of these celebrities in compromising positions during his freak-off parties. Diddy would use the footage to blackmail and pressure his victims into silence. Authorities seized his property as the case involved many high-end celebrities. Sean Diddy Combs is accused of sexually abusing over 120 people. 25 victims were reportedly minors at the time of assault. He was arrested on 16 September this year. Recent lawsuits allege Diddy was involved in incidents of rape at a 2005 MTV VMAs after party where numerous celebrities like Eva Longoria and Paris Hilton were present. A lawsuit claims A woman was raped by Diddy and a female celebrity when she was just 13 years old. 2 new lawsuits have been filed against Diddy earlier this week. One of the lawsuits accused him of drugging and sexually assaulting a 10-year-old boy in a New York City hotel room in 2005. A second lawsuit alleges Diddy assaulted a teenager auditioning for MTV reality show Making the Band, which Diddy produced. Sean Diddy Combs is currently being held at New York's Metropolitan Detention Center. He has denied all allegations against him. However, the court denied him bail and he will remain in custody until his trial in May next year. If convicted of racketeering, he would face life in prison. As the curtains close on Diddy's lavish lifestyle, the question remains: will justice prevail, or will the music mogul's influence silence his accusers again? That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.